Chris Cuomo took part in strategy calls advising his brother, the New York governor, on how to respond to sexual harassment allegations. The guy who's supposed to be holding politicians accountable is now figuring out ways to smear the people who accuse politicians of sexual harassment. That's, I'm not saying that Andrew Cuomo shouldn't have a defense, but the guy who's the number one host on CNN shouldn't be in on those calls. That kind of seems, I don't know, unethical. That kind of seems, you know how the United States makes fun of the royal family? We can't do that anymore. That's all over.
We can't. Yeah, we have no room.
So did this really happen? This really happened. This is because you know it happened because it's in Jeff Bezos' Washington Post. Cuomo, one of the network's top stars. I love how news places, they call them top stars, right? Walter Cronkite, CBS News' top stars and celebrity. I can't wait to see him in this. What did they call it? The Battle of the Network Stars? Can't wait to see Walter Cronkite do a fucking sprint against Robert Conrad from Baba Black Sheep.
Those are some references.
At least it's a rare moment of honesty. They don't call him a reporter. They don't call him a journalist. They call him a star.
They call him a star.
That's what it's all about.
That's what yes. Cuomo, one of the network's top stars, joined a series of conference calls that included the Democratic governor. The Democratic governor? You mean his brother? His brother, the Democratic governor, his top aide, his communications team, lawyers, and a number of outside advisors. Okay. The calls occurred earlier this year when growing number of claims that Andrew Cuomo made inappropriate comments or touched women without their permission had escalated into a political crisis for the three-term governor. It seems like he's going to be able to get out of this one. I don't know if it just seems like this. They seem to be waiting for this just to blow over. I don't know if it's gonna. The cable news anchor encouraged his brother to take a defiant position and not resign from the governor. Whatever happened to hashtag Me Too? Wasn't Chris Cuomo and weren't they all hashtag Me Too MFers? I was not a hashtag Me Too MFer. I think all women should be heard, but everybody deserves a defense because people make shit up like they did against Shahid Buttar. All the time, people do that, right? And who's going to do that? Now who's doing that is the establishment has weaponized hashtag Me Too against progressive insurgents. Guys like Joe Biden don't have to worry about hashtag Me Too. Isn't that interesting? So the cable news anchor encouraged his brother to take a defiant position, not believe all women, and to resign from the governor's office. At one point, he used the phrase cancel culture as a reason to hold firm in the face of the allegations. This is kind of amazing. The behind-the-scenes strategy offered by Chris Cuomo, who anchors CNN's nightly newscast, cuts against the widely accepted norm. You think? Do you think it does? It cuts against the widely accepted norm in journalism. What? He. By the way, he does way more than cut against the norm. This is a blatant ethics violation. Just like when he was interviewing his brother about the COVID relief, while his brother was facilitating the deaths of elderly in New York and lying about it. Yeah, that's right. If you are actively advising a politician in trouble while being an on-air host of a news network, that's not okay. They had to go all the way to the Columbia of Journalism to get that. Really? Because anybody could have told, my 8th grade teacher could have told you that. Everybody could tell you that. My gardener, I asked him today, he said, yeah, that's not right. You don't have to go to the Columbia School of Journalism. CNN said Cuomo will not be disciplined. He will not be disciplined. And Cuomo said that's because CNN's a punk-ass bitch, and he threatened to throw CNN down a flight of stairs and wreck their shit. So they're not gonna. That's what he does, Fredo. That's what he's not gonna. That's what he does if you call him Fredo. I bet this is a little worse. So I just want to show you what Chris Cuomo. Here's Chris Cuomo talking about the Trumps. Remember when the Trumps were the beacon of corruption? Well, here's The Hill tweeting this out on May 6, 2017. Jared Kushner's sister urges Chinese investors to invest in real estate project, citing family ties. The Hill. And then he retweets it and said, conflicts of interest? Chris Cuomo, who went on to cover for his brother while he was facilitating the deaths of the elderly and lying about it. And that it's... But you want to see the beauty?
Well, maybe
ahead,
Chris Cuomo doesn't understand what conflict of interest means. Maybe that is a sincere question, because the answer to his question is, well, yes, it is. Just like the answer to, is this a conflict of interest, what I'm doing for my brother? Oh, well, yes, it is. Maybe he doesn't understand. He's like, is that a conflict of interest? What does that mean?
Yeah, because there's a question mark. See, there's a question
mark.
He's like, because he's planning on doing that, maybe. He's like, conflict of interest? Could I do that?
Is this bad? I don't know.
I
so like back in 2017, he went, oh, looks like we can get away with this. All right, cool. So then I can cover for my brother 4 years from now. This will be awesome.
Okay. No.
Is this okay? I don't have a job that requires me to know. Can I do this? That's fine. I've never been accountable for anything.
No. Is that a conflict of interest? Yes, it is, Fredo. And remember, Fredo, when you point the finger, you have three pointing back at you. I love how he uses... Now, is that just me that he uses Christopher C. Cuomo to sound less like a fucking moron, less like a Goomba Fredo? Is that what he's doing? Is that what that is? Because I don't know. Some people, I don't know. Maybe there's already a Chris Cuomo on Twitter, so he had to use the C. Maybe that. And Christopher. I love when they use that. Christopher. Oh... There he is interviewing his brother. Remember this? Oh, look, they're doing comedy. There's the air thing or the nose thing to do the swab. Oh, he's laughing. Look, there he is from his basement. Remember when he did fake news reports from his basement? By the way, here's too many women are sexually assaulted while in college. Joined by New York Governor Cuomo to discuss why. That's Nancy Pelosi. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Wow, This aged as well as when she bragged about her $12,000 ice cream freezers. That's pretty fantastic. Again, these are all the people who pushed #MeToo until it came down to him and Bill Clinton and then Joe Biden. I was never for the #MeToo. I always think you should be able to defend yourself. And people make up shit all the time. You know why? Because I've been smeared by New York Times, Washington Post, the CNN. So if those people will make up shit on the regular, I'm sure any random person in the universe will make up shit. So you got to be able to confront your accuser, and you got to be able to defend yourself with a robust defense. But people get canceled without all the time. Look what happened to Shahid Buttar. They just canceled him without a trial, without a thing, without anything, because they were enforcing #MeToo until it happened to an establishment Democrat, and then #MeToo went away. Who was the woman who took it out of her bio? Well, what's the...
That was... oh, no, not Deborah Messing. It was Alyssa Milano.
Alyssa Milano took it out of her bio when Joe Biden became the nominee. Isn't that fantastic? Or took it out of her bio when Joe Biden got accused. Anyway, so there it is. It's just here. YouTube CEO says it's easy to make up content and post it from your basement, so we boost authoritative. So that's the authoritative sources she's boosting. They're boosting this shit. This is the shit they're boosting. That's what they're boosting. Not our coverage of Andrew Cuomo's bullshit deceit, which we covered in real time at the beginning of COVID. No other news shows were doing that. We were doing that. She's boosting this. This is what YouTube is doing right now. They're boosting this. This is your authoritative news source that she's boosting.
Their brotherly back and forth is so frickin' cringe, too. Well, like, people find it endearing.
Oh, my God.
Like the one, remember the one where he's like, are you thinking about running for president? He's like, no, I'm not thinking about it. Then they just go back and forth with their fake tough guy accents. It's so painful to watch. And
you want to know an example of fake news from mainstream media outlet? That's particularly relevant in light of basement analogies. You want to know one? Is CNN's Chris Cuomo, who staged his exit from self-isolation in his basement, soon forced to admit he left his house a week earlier. Here it is. By the way, this stuff is still up. This stuff is still... there it is. It says Chris Cuomo cleared to end self-quarantine. There he is in his basement. And then there's Chris Cuomo emerges from quarantine 14 days later from his basement. He had already left quarantine and went outside a week earlier. And then he did a fake news thing. This is the authoritative news that CEO of YouTube is pushing. On you. On you. So we can't get... And what I said was... Who would have thought a guy who faked his own corona quarantine video and made a mockery of journalistic ethics and standards by doing softball interviews with his brother while his brother was facilitating the deaths of the elderly in New York and lying about it? Who thought it could get worse? So I just want...
He didn't respond to your tweet because your name is in James P. Dore.
That's right. That's right. James P. Dore is my name. James Afur. So this is the kind of crap YouTube is pushing, the exact opposite thing that YouTube was invented for. YouTube is so people don't have to go get their entertainment or their news or their cooking shows or their whatever spirituality. They don't have to go get it from a corporate-owned thing. They could go get it from people who don't have corporate interests to satisfy. And now it's all done. And I just want, and so now they push YouTube pushes Chris Cuomo. And I just want the same advantage that Chris Cuomo and CNN have. I don't want an extra advantage because I don't have billions of dollars in funding like they do. I just want the same level playing field. And that's what Graham wants. That's what Ron wants. We want the level playing field with CNN. We're never going to get it on YouTube. And there it is. So there's Chris Cuomo. There's CNN. Garbage news organization. I should just show him sniffing a backpack over in Syria. We should just have him sniff the backpack. That's the kind of reporting they did on Syria and the kind of reporting they did on COVID handling in New York State. We did much better coverage than them. But YouTube is going to push Chris Cuomo's bullshit reporting. He's going to push the people sniffing a backpack in Syria. That's what YouTube is going to push, not actual reporting from places like this or the Gray Zone. No, or Ron Placone or Graham Elwood or Lee Camp. No, what they're going to push is ridiculous propaganda and straight up lies from establishment news. Anything you guys like to add to this?
Well, I think one of the reasons why Christopher C. Cuomo is so confident in saying, "Oh, I'm going to tell my brother how to keep this, under wraps, that he's like a sexual predator and shut down hospitals for 10 years in New York," is because they manufacture consent. They know that they're going to get, the Me Too crowd that was, many of them were just vote any blue will do, neo-check blue liberals. They're going back to brunch. They're just going to get those people back to brunch and pretend like, oh, we don't know much about Tara Reid or whatever. And and they'll just be like, well, glad Trump's gone. Because they're not going to hold Biden and Cuomo as accountable as they did Trump, and so they get away with it. I mean, unfortunately, that's the reality. He knows I can sell this, and anyone who watches my channel on the regular is going to buy it.
You remember when Mark Lamont Hill got fired from CNN? Do you remember that? I do. He got fired he was on someone else's panel, I think at the UN, and he told the truth about what's happening in Palestine, and so they fired him.
Yep.
Do you remember that? Yeah, that was Mark Lamont Hill. I'm pretty sure, right, Ron? Does that ring a bell with you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's who that was.
And CNN fired him. But this is okay. The guy interviewing his brother, giving softball interviews to his brother while his brother was facilitating the death and lying about it over in COVID in New York State. And now this. No problems whatsoever. Oh, he faked his own quarantine video. Faked a video. The host of the CNN primetime news show faked a video about COVID. His channel doesn't get taken down. He's not getting canceled. No one's calling him a conspiracy theorist, even though he faked a video. The host. And somehow he's better than Trump's kids. Somehow he's better than Trump and Trump's kids, and somehow he's better than Fox News, and somehow he's better than the New York Times. The CNN is garbage. Straight up garbage. And no one's watching them. By the way, I keep telling myself to do a segment on how their ratings are in the toilet. Their ratings are in the toilet. No one's watching CNN. More people
that
are.
Doesn't matter, Jimmy. Ratings don't matter.
As Brian Stelter said it in front of a room full of journalism students, he said ratings don't matter at CNN, and the whole room laughed at him.
Yeah.
The whole room laughed at him. Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.